This is going to be a pivotal season for the Los Angeles Lakers. This is the first time that they're going to have Luka Doncic for the full season. This could possibly be the last year of LeBron James, either as a Laker or just in the NBA. And for Austin Reaves, this is the most important season of his career. Not only does Reaves have to focus on winning, but he has to focus on what is in store for the future. This is effectively a contract season for Austin Reaves. He has a player option that he's likely going to deny to earn more money as an unrestricted free agent. The Lakers offered him a max that they can under the current CBA, but Reaves denied it and could earn more as a Laker in further negotiations or as a free agent. So not only does Reaves have to prove himself, but he has to decide if LA should remain his home for the future. Austin Reaves is currently one of the more underrated players in the league, but is he someone who could take on a further role either in LA or on a new team? Reaves is coming across another season of across-the-board improvement. Last year, he averaged 20 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists on 46, 37, 87 shooting splits. He had career highs in all 5 of his major box score stats, he had the highest true shooting percentage of his career, and he had some of the best advanced stats that he's ever seen. And while it definitely didn't show up in the playoffs, Reaves basically improved offensively across the board. He ranked in the 78th percentile in isolation, the 51st percentile in transition, and then in the 76th percentile of coming off of screens. But what really impresses me is him in the pick and roll. Austin Reaves ranks as one of the top pick and roll ball handlers in the entire NBA. He sits in the 83rd percentile, scoring about 5 points per game, and this is actually his 3rd straight year of being in the 80th percentile or higher. He's certainly no Luka Doncic, but he's definitely the second best on the Lakers in this regard. As far as a pick and roll threat goes, Reaves has turned into a versatile all-around weapon. LA really likes to use him in handoffs and get actions, a get action being where he passes the ball to the screener and then receives a handoff. And Reaves is hard to guard in these sorts of plays. He can be faster than you think going downhill, he's a threat to pull up from mid-range, and if you don't step up, he has no issues launching a 3-ball. Even driving to the rim, Reaves has become a threat, shooting around 70% at the rim for the last 3 seasons, and outside of the restricted area, he's been making more shots as his career goes on. And Reaves is playmaking at a better rate as well. He does a good job kicking the ball out to the open man, he does a good job throwing accurate lob passes, and he has a great wraparound pass. He saw a career high in his assist and usage rate while seeing his turnovers decreasing. With a center that can be a lob threat like DeAndre Ayton and on a team that has solid spacing, Austin Reaves can more than likely be one of the best pick and roll ball handlers in the NBA. But what's just as impressive and something we might see even more next season is his ability in catch and shoot and spot up situations. Last year, Austin Reaves ranked in the 96th percentile of all players in spot up scenarios, scoring around 5 points per game. On catch and shoot opportunities, Reaves shot around 40% from 3. Few players are this efficient in catch and shoot scenarios and as efficient as attacking off of the catch, which is something that Reaves has been working on this offseason. Not to mention, going alongside and being the 3rd option of LeBron James and Luka Doncic, 2 guys who we know aren't exactly the best players off the ball, Reaves can be the perfect guy to be a threat without having the ball in his hands. And he's becoming a better shooter basically every single year in the NBA. Last year, he shot 38% from 3 on nearly 7 attempts per game. And Austin Reaves is much more than just a pick and roll ball handler or a spot up option because he has really gotten better at his isolation game. Over the past few years, possibly no part of his game has taken as big of a leap as his ability to score out of the ISO. Just by watching Reaves, his bodily control and his ball handling has clearly taken a leap, and I would argue he's become one of the smoothest players in the league. Last year, Reaves sat in the 78th percentile, averaging an isolation bucket per game. Out of the ISO, he's seen a career high not only in his usage, but in his efficiency as well. Between his ball handling and his step back, few 3rd options are this good out of isolation. And surrounding Reaves is what can he do as a 3rd option? Is there any potential for more? Looking into some of his games last year, I actually think we could be seeing more come from AR-15. Reaves is already coming off of a career year, but he was on a tear in the second half of the season where he was averaging around 22 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists, shooting 48% from the field and 40% from 3. But it's what he's done without LeBron James and Luka Doncic in the lineup, which proves that he might just be capable of a lot more. In 9 games without LeBron James last year, Reaves averages 28 points, 8 assists, and nearly 7 rebounds per game, while shooting 1% from the field shy of a 50-40-90. He had a plus-minus of 56 in those games, so when he was on the court for those games, the Lakers did on average around 6 points per game better than without him. In 2 games that Luka missed for the Lakers, Reaves would average 34 points, 10 assists, and 4 rebounds while shooting 47-33-95. Two of arguably the best games that Austin Reaves had all season. The first one was on February 8th. This is when LeBron James was out and Luka Doncic was a Laker, but he had not yet played his first game. Austin Reaves dropped 45 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists, and without LeBron James or Luka Doncic, was up against a full-fledged Pacers squad that won 66% of their games from January onward. He was up against the lineup that made the finals, and he dropped an amazing stat line. And in the only game he had played without LeBron and Luka since Luka had played, Reaves dropped 37 points, 8 rebounds, 13 assists, 4 steals, shot 50% from the field, and the Lakers lost by just 5 points to the Nuggets. Mind you, this was a full-on Nuggets team that had Jokic, Murray, Gordon, Porter Jr., and Westbrook. The Lakers, their starting lineup was Austin Reaves, Dalton Knecht, Jordan Goodwin, Jared Vanderbilt, and Alex Len. Look at the difference in these lineups and watch the dominance that Reaves put up against a good playoff team. While the sample size is very small, performances like these are indicative that there could be more to be had. It shows that there is some potential of Austin Reaves being a primary ball handler on a high-level team. And I think this backs up his potential for being more when going alongside Luka Doncic. And that is the big question for the Lakers. In a post-LeBron James world, do you want to build your team around Luka Doncic and Austin Reaves? For his value, you definitely don't want to let him walk away in free agency for nothing, and there has been some talks about him getting a sign and trade to a new team, but is that even going to be necessary for the Lakers? There is a slight chance that Luka and Reaves might actually be the combo. As I mentioned, in games without LeBron James last year, Austin Reaves did quite well, and the Lakers didn't suffer too badly overall. Without LeBron James, they went around 6-6, but without LeBron James and with Austin Reaves, they went 5-4. As a pairing, Austin Reaves and Luka Doncic were actually pretty solid. They had a net rating of 7.5 points per 100 possessions. Compared to their yearly averages, the Lakers' offense and defense were actually better with Luka and with Reaves on the court. Yes, technically speaking, the Lakers' defense was better on average with Austin Reaves and Luka Doncic. And as a trio, these three were not exactly spectacular. LeBron James, Luka Doncic, and Austin Reaves had a net rating of around 0.6 points per 100 possessions. Luka and LeBron were a positive duo. Luka and Reaves work, but Luka, Reaves, and LeBron were far from the greatest trio last season. We talk about the conflicting playstyles of a guy like Austin Reaves, especially going alongside Luka Doncic, but I think this is kind of diminishing the kind of player that Austin Reaves is progressing into. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be nearly as good as him, but Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic, a lot of people were not seeing a lot of good things out of this duo, and a lot of people said that their playstyles were conflicting. However, in the 2024 season, they had a net rating of plus 9 points per 100 possessions, and of course made the NBA Finals. Given the fact that Luka and Reaves have barely had a half season together, and they had a net rating of 7.5 points per 100 possessions, I think they're a duo that's actually worth trying out. Of course, though, this still requires the right team to go around them, and that goes back to the Lakers, their roster construction, and what they are capable of putting around them. And things are far from perfect for Austin Reaves. While I believe in him and I believe in his numbers and his improvement, he clearly has struggled in the playoffs, especially in the last season. He struggled up against some of the top defenses in the league. He struggled against the Timberwolves not only in the playoffs, but in their meetings during the regular season. That is something he definitely needs to improve if he wants to be a number 2 option. Technically speaking, defensively, he was pretty solid last year, and defensively speaking, him and Luka had good numbers last year. I'm not fully believing in that yet. I do want to see them continue to be a good defensive duo and be viable in the modern NBA. For somebody who wants a bigger role and a bigger contract, Reaves is going to have to remain viable in these areas, and he's going to have to be better. I mean, he's going to remain under the largest microscope in the NBA in Los Angeles, so he needs to remain and become an even better defender and be able to play well against top defenses. And all we can do is wait until next season, but few players are scorers like him, few players can create plays like him, and even fewer show a consistent line of improvement on a year-to-year basis. While Reaves' numbers may slow down a bit next season, I don't think his true production or his true skill will at all. I think he's going to be relegated to that third man, to that spot up role, and it doesn't seem like he has an issue with that, but I think he's more than capable of being more than just a third player. Barring some drastic overpay or barring the fact that the Lakers decline some crazy trade, I would actually really like to see them try to build a roster around Reaves and Luka, and then they focus everyone else on depth and development, because that is clearly the way of the NBA. If Reaves is able to continue this line of development, if he and Luka can be a good duo, if he can play better against high-level teams, and if he can at least be average to slightly above average on defense, then I think Austin Reaves is more than worth it He's somebody, he may not be sniffing the All-Star conversation next year, but he is definitely somebody who is capable of being in that conversation. But he is definitely someone who is capable of playing at that level. That is it for this one. If you like this video, especially coming from someone who is not a Lakers fan, then you know what to do, but I will catch you all later.